Good afternoon. This is Mr. Not Advice, and it is Saturday, June 7th, 2025, and this is my weekend update. So, as always, this is for entertainment purposes only, and never get your never get advice from a complete stranger off the internet about anything, especially not your investments. All right, heck of a week last week. We had a wild with the whole Trump and Elon thing going on. The data that came out last week, one of the data points that really concerned me was consumer credit jumped from 8.6 billion in April to 17.9 billion, and that's so you would look at that and say, oh well, the consumer's in great shape. Well, no. uh, Credit card debt rose by or say revolving credit rose by 7.6 billion, and that's up from the 1.7 billion since March. People are spending the hell out of everything. Okay. Here's what's really weird is auto loans shrank by 10 billion in quarter 1, which is the biggest quarterly decline in a decade. But it was student debt, right? As that moratorium's over, student debt surged 22 billion in quarter 1 to, now I want you to sit down for this number, 1.79 trillion dollars. Okay, so finally, with the question on whether or not recent Fed rate cuts translate into lower interest rates, no, they haven't, because commercial banks refuse to lower their rates. Why? Because they're making too much money. Okay, so yeah, ultimately, what I'm taking from that is this. I'm taking from that the consumer, this is the last gasp. Okay, let's talk a little last gasp of spending. I think credit is largely tapped unless Trump is able to somehow get the banks to issue more debt. I'll tell you, there is easy debt to be had out there for consumers as well as some small businesses. I get offers all the time for loans. So yes, there is. I think the credit market is signaling to me, at least, that consumer credit market, that we're nearing a top for spending, and I think if Trump's not able to thread the needle, so to speak, then that's probably going to be turn out to be a recessionary signal. Let's look at Trump, Elon. Yeah, that blow up, Ryan. I mean, it's just crazy. But one of the things that I think that we need to be careful of is with Trump in office and with this headline risk that's going on, and I think we really saw it peak when those two started going at it on Thursday, and the market immediately cratered. I think that there is the real concern from a macro basis that if Elon, and Trump said it today, if Elon decides to start supporting Democrats, Trump's going to unleash the federal government against him. That's terrible. I mean, that would be terrible for Elon. I'm not going to comment on whether I think it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that is not a fight Elon can win. So I am watching his actions because it will have an effect on his stock. And certainly, if it turns out that he has a drug issue and the board has to move, that'll affect the company. So right now, as a Tesla owner, I think that's a very difficult spot to be in. Looking at what I see are the market movers next week, Monday it was announced, not it was announced on Monday, but it was announced last week late that on Monday, China and the US will be meeting in London. Now, Trump's already said a lot of the hard work's been done. I expect Zippo from it. I expect nothing because that's typically what's been happening. I'm very disappointed in the Republicans that they haven't been able to codify anything. The Doge cuts, Dodge, whatever you want to call them, have been much less. So I'm very disappointed. I still think we got better than the alternative if we had cackling Kamala in there, but and the Democrats and all that issue. But from an economic standpoint, tariffs are up. Okay, we've got Americans are paying less at the pump. They're paying less for groceries. They're just paying less. But this is now, right now, this week coming is when we should start seeing pressures on store shelves for, according to other experts, where we'll start seeing maybe shortages. Okay. So the tariff is front and center. Well, it's not to the market, but it is to me because I think that's going to be one of the market drivers. Secondly, if you probably didn't know, but my home country, South Korea, elected a new president last week, and he immediately decided to move to strengthen relations with North Korea in order to fight the West's, I think he put in imperialism. That's not good. So that'll be another problem down the road if we don't deal with China. Speaking about, let's speak another hotspot, Ukraine and Russia. I have no idea what's going on there other than the fact that Russia made a point of bombing a building last week in Ukraine that had French military in it. So NATO, boots on the ground, yep, they're there, they're getting hit. And I think there is a attempt by the EU to try to drag the US into this, which would be very, very bad for all of us. So, and then finally, Iran, and we have Iran, Israel, and the US. So Iran and the US keep going back and forth. I don't know what's going to happen there because Trump has been very clear that if they do not come to the table, he's going to bomb their enrichment facilities. So I have been going back into the market. We've done well, but I want to be very cautious, so we've been sizing down. Let's look at the overall indexes. The S&P 500 was able to make, and we'll take a look at the weekly charts, it's the end of the week, was able to break out of this consolidation that was in for 4 weeks. So we did get a new weekly higher close. I think next week it's pretty simple. I think it's going to shoot to 61.13. I mean, shoot, it's a little over 2%, right? So I think that's in store for next week. Could happen as soon as Monday. The Qs, looking at the weekly chart, yes, we had this is the 4th week we had a higher high and a higher low. So weekly chart breaking out, 540.81, which is only 11 points from here. Again, 2%. So yes, I think that happens next week. Looking at Tesla, first of all, Tesla weekly candle is ugly, right? So I'd expect a retrace up to here above the 300 level. It needs to hold 300. At the first, right here is the 200-day. Let's do this. There is the 200-day moving average. We need to get above that, get some support, or start going sideways here. Okay, massive volume day on Thursday. So I think there's going to be continued uncertainty just because we don't know what Elon's going to say. And until this gets back above the 200-day moving average, I would have no interest in it. So let's take a look at, we opened a trade on the QQQs. We got into TQQQ calls, July 77 calls. We're flat. We're up, I think, like 10 cents in them. But I will be raising my stop. The original stop was here. I will be raising my stop now to Friday's low, which was 73.54. So that'll be my new stop on TQQQ. Looking at silver, I got to see if we were able to enter it. We were pretty busy. Trying to get into the silver trade. I don't know if we were able to get into it. So I'll take a look at that. I apologize. I haven't updated my open positions yet today. But that was a clean breakout. So we'll have to take a look. RDW, a trade. Oh, SDS, I'm in. I'm probably looking to roll those next week. Okay. RDW, we entered those on Thursday. We entered into RDW July 19 calls. We are up 26% in those. That's a Chrome trade. So we are going to raise our stop to Friday's low of 17.56. Palantir is shortable, except I don't like that if you short it, it's still in this consolidation area. So I'm looking at this level here, the 114 to break first. We are in OUST. We scaled in this in one day. We got into the July 13 calls of OUST at $1.60. They're at 258, up 61%. I think that's 3 or 4 days. We will be raising our stop on OUST also. Now it's going to be 1391, which is Friday's low. Novar or NVTS. I am looking at NVTS like this. This is a pennant. So I'm watching this to see which way it breaks. We also got into a new trade on MGNI. Pretty volatile day on Friday, by the way. But our MGNI trade, our stop will be raised to the low of 1730. That'll be the stop. Hold on one second here. I can pull it up. Yes, we did get into the Julys right here. Silver, Julys, 33.5. I think we paid, let's see here. I forget what we paid. Anyway, we are in those. I think we played close to $1, maybe 95 cents. So we're in the silver trade. What else are we in here? Yes, MGNI right here. I think we are just flat in those. NVX, looking at the chart, NVX continues to be stuck in this zone between $9, 705. Okay, so we break out of here. I have no interest in doing anything. We opened a clean spark trade, which we are up 25% in. Weren't able to scale on Friday, but we're getting very close. We're going to need a close above 1005. My stop now is going to raise up to below 919 or Friday's low on clean spark. Looking at beyond. Beyond is also stuck in this zone here between 775 and 546. Okay. Additionally, let's look at EOSE. I think that finally on Friday, we finally had a below 10 million share volume day. I'd like to see us below 7 million. I think when that's done, the selling will be done. I think for the last 3 days, a lot of this selling has been margin calls. The stock dropped 40% in 5 days. That's going to trigger a tremendous amount of margin calls. So I think that's a lot of margin calls. I think the selling could be done. I have no interest, if we look in closer, I have no interest in getting into this, into EOSE, until we're above 430. Why? I've got the 200-day moving average here, and I also have the point of control right here. Excuse me. I have no desire to get into either one of the, or into that until we get above that level. I wouldn't be surprised. Now, they did have a news announcement on Friday. Pretty exciting news, actually, because from my understanding, it sets them as being a truly plug-and-play solution. So that's really exciting. So again, it's just going to take a couple orders. I'm beyond the whole stock offering thing and all that. We're beyond it. We have to move forward. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, $300 million worth of new investment dollars came into the company. And so I am looking to get long. Nothing has changed for me from a potential and where I think the price could be by the end of the year. I know that sounds ridiculous. That's a 4X from here, but yeah, it's what I think is possible. So, finally, looking at PCT, I think we did get stopped out of this. Let me take a look here. Looking at the model. No, we never did get out of it. So PCT, I'm going to wait for a break again above 1051. So I can get in there. Looking at last week's performance, we had a pretty good week. I closed, let's see here, looking at the close dates, last week 620, closed roadblocks for plus 42. TSLA, small, I took stops on, okay? Then I scaled on OUST, and then I took out my runner on roadblocks. So all in all, the portfolio is up 22% for the year, 328% on a cumulative basis over a little over 2 years. So finally, if you have not, and you are in the Discord, and you have not taken a look at the, or you were not at my vision live session, I'd encourage you to take a look. I'm really pushing for people that are members now, or if you're not a member, become a member. I think we're about ready to hockey stick in our growth spurt, or our growth phase of our Discord and our community, and I'd love to have you. So, all right, next week I think is going to prove to be an exciting, interesting week. Trade volume has picked up, although I remain cautious, right? I still remain cautious, but at the end of the day, I am looking at the market now as I think it has much thicker skin, and I still think the market's going to head to highs. And as you know, will they last? Again, it's all going to be dependent upon if we get trade deals, right? So we better get him. I'm already pissed off about his progress thus far and Epstein and all that shit. So, all right, you guys and gals, I'm so sorry. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week.
They ain't got no muscle, no hustle, no backbone. I stand alone, not tripping, just saying I'm different. Ain't hanging on to the coattails of the next man.